It's gonna be 3-1.
Hey everybody, we are live. The Simply Incredible podcast. Tonight we are talking conspiracies with Hialeah Comics. Hialeah Comics Bro. Yeah, I always got to point the opposite direction.
Mhm.
Now here we got the great legend,
What's up? Coming at you live, everybody.
one of the pioneers in YouTube comic book community. Truly a great legend.
Thank you, my friend.
And this way, there he is. Stone Cold. Steve, what is up?
What is going on, everybody? I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
This is what I like.
I was looking forward to this one all week. Yeah, it's like Friday could not get here fast enough for this. It is Friday, isn't it? It's Friday. It's Thursday.
It's Thursday. Gonna be Friday soon.
I'll watch it again tomorrow. I'm that excited about it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, guys. Which one would you guys like to start with? What conspiracy theory? What? Anybody can pick. Anybody.
Aliens.
Go for it.
The aliens.
Are we a believer
Personally,
or not?
I believe in aliens. I believe there's something else out there. It's just too big in a vast universe. There's got to be other stuff. And some of the stuff we went from, when, back in like Hitler's days, I mean, they went from nothing to having microwaves and all this. I mean, I know there's advances, but the microchip and all that, I mean, everyone's conspiracy is that the aliens are the ones that introduced us to some of this technology. What do you think, Hialeah?
Well, you gotta ask me, bro.
And the bus just ran over him.
Okay. Do I believe there's life in the universe? Yes. It's to me, it's highly unlikely that we're the only ones out there. To what degree there is, that I don't know. But have they visited us and do they come here and visit? No, I do not believe that.
Legend.
Well, my wife, her mom has a good UFO story to where she was living. I don't remember where she was living, but she was living out in the country, and she had her firstborn baby, old brother-in-law Stephen, and he was real little and just couldn't walk himself, so he was still being carried all the time. And she heard this rumbling or some loud kind of vibrating, kind of like a motor sound that she'd never heard before, but kind of a low hum, but it was getting louder and louder and louder. And when she looked outside across the field, there was like one of those big, round, silvery kind of saucers. She didn't tell. I didn't ever find out did it have lights on it or whatnot. It seemed like it was daytime. She said it was daytime, so there wasn't really any lights, but she noticed a lot of silver and a lot of reflection from the sunlight coming off of it. And it kind of landed. It didn't. I guess it didn't land all the way, like say on a landing gear or anything, but it just kind of like hovered there for the longest time. So she ran immediately to her like a bedroom closet and just hid away in the closet until the sounds went away. And even then, I think she stayed in the closet about 30 more minutes because she didn't know any better. And then when she came out, it was all gone. Like it was like nothing had even been there or whatever. But yeah, she was freaked out about it. That's a wife, like my wife's told me countless times. I don't have any like reason not to believe her. And then also we watched a great documentary about the story of Barney and Betty Hill. And this was a couple that was old school. They were born in about the 20s, I think. So they were old school, one in 1919, the other in 1922. And on I can't remember what year it was or whatever, but they were, I guess, in their middle age years, and they were Barney was a black guy and Betty was a white gal. So it's kind of one of the very first kind of interracial marriages before that was really popular. But they said they had a UFO incident to where they stopped the car and supposedly the aliens caught them and dragged them onto one of the like spaceships or whatnot. And they had like test ran on them. And what was interesting was after it was done, they got back in their car, but when they looked at the time, they had noticed a lot of time had passed. And you'd have to look it up. I don't know the exact like times and everything. But one thing is, they went to one of the these hypnosis sessions, and both of them had the exact same story to this guy that was doing hypnosis on him, and like I found that like really interesting.
Yeah, were they divided up?
Yeah, they were divided up,
Yeah,
taken in separate deals.
You know,
There was that. There was also DNA found, original like DNA found on her dress when she sent that in, and they did the DNA on it. They couldn't find whatever that DNA was, and it was some kind of like almost like a metallic kind of like, I want to say, you know how we make fingerprints, but these had some kind of prints that were like almost like a metallic kind of sandy substance where they didn't find anything what the hell DNA that was even from. So I do believe there is aliens and UFOs out there. There's numerous UFO sightings on internet and stuff that you can find. The United States Air Force, they've actually finally released videos and stuff saying that they are unidentifying flying objects out there, and they had fighter planes trying to catch stuff and they couldn't catch them. So I do believe there is some aliens and stuff out there. Now, what those aliens are or where they come from, could they come from another planet? Could they come from, in Christianity? Could it be some kind of God? Like, is it God and Jesus's little drone scoping out things, or is it something else from like a parallel universe or alternate reality? I have no clue, but man, they out there. I just don't know where the hell they coming from.
What gets me, Legend, is there's hieroglyphics before there's anything of them pointing up to the space, and they're in rocket ships and stuff. I mean,
caves,
where did they draw that from? Did they just have a vision or what?
Straight up, yeah, man. It's like in hieroglyphics, old Egypt, old like just prehistoric Neanderthal caves. They see that kind of stuff, and there's drawings of it that go way back before most man was even born or whatever. You know, so it's bizarre, man.
There's an old painting out there, like from like 2,000 years ago or something, and you see the lady facing one way, and everyone behind her is looking at something in the sky, and it looks like a spaceship behind her in the sky.
Damn.
And I'm just like,
that's insane. It's kind of like almost like a self-portrait selfie of some sort. Like she's like in the camera getting her camera time, and then everyone else is paying attention to the things in the sky.
Yeah.
Hey guys, don't get me wrong. I don't believe, right? But damn, I wish it was. I wish it was, dude, because I love all this stuff. I've been fascinated since the 70s. I remember one of my favorite all-time shows. You guys remember In Search of?
I love that with Leonard Nimoy back.
Oh my God, I was riveted, and my imagination. And not that I'm not debunking. I'm not trying to debunk anybody, but I would love that. I just okay. The hieroglyphics, yeah, I've seen all that, right? They saw them. By our understanding, by seeing that stuff, why don't we have that proof? We have the sightings. I've seen the UFOs on the Air Force and whatnot, but why don't we have anything more concrete? That's my question.
Yeah, I wish like if there's got to be something in New Mexico. Like say this Area 51's out there and all that. What would really settle it is if we could just see a damn body of one of them, like an alien body, or like, but it has to be like concrete to where it has to be coming from the government. That's probably the only like 100% way, like for other folks to believe. But I think there's something out there. Before I met my wife and before I heard her mom's story, I was kind of skeptical, like, well, they could be, but shit, man, it's like some bullshit. But then like just researching it and studying it, the last, like, I guess since 2016, since I woke up to the Mandela effect bullshit stuff, I started looking into some of them truth things, and man, I think they're out there. I just don't know why they're here or what they're doing or
what's up, Rick?
What's going on? I figured we'd be pretty boring people if they got some high kick-ass technology. Why they want to be studying us, man?
Exactly right.
Yeah. So that stuff's weird.
They look down at us and like.
They always say it's about gold, right? They're here to get the gold.
Yeah, find the metallic metals.
But what if they're here trying to get gravity? What if no one knows what gravity is? What's gravity?
Yeah,
We
what if
just
they're
know the
here
grass
trying to
falls
get
off something, you hit the ground, right?
because our planet's probably a lot different from their planet. So
you know, maybe because they always seem to see him going down in the water and coming out and stuff like that. It's just
like almost like
you wonder what
going
they're here,
straight into the water and like
said,
straight out.
For? What do they want? You know,
maybe it's like
studying this. They're like, these guys are dummies.
People think they're air.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like opposite. Like, so out in space, you know, everyone's floating around, but then when they're in our planet, they're not floating and they're trying to run studies on it and stuff. It's interesting though, very weird and interesting at the same time. But
it is.
Damn, man.
Did any of you guys see the Joe Rogan podcast with God? What's the guy's name? Damn, I done forgot his name. But he worked
at Area 51.
It was about the guy that they hired to go to Area 51, but he said it was a little bit, I think he said north of that. He goes, there's a big underground. He goes, and I've seen all these shit, but you guys need to watch it because I'm like, you know, but when I watch this guy, he convinces me what he's saying isn't a lie. I don't know if he knows everything, but it's just like the way he said stuff worked was, he said, this is all the stuff you've seen growing up. This right here is that. He goes, it is everything. He goes, the way the ship moved, he said he saw it fly and everything that they did tests. I mean, it's just an awesome podcast.
I've seen it.
His name's Bob something.
Oh, Bob Lazier.
Lazier. He has dude. That thing, that podcast is long. You can break it up, but it was. I watched it twice.
Yeah, Rogan always does about 3-hour interviews with people.
Dude, it was good. It was long. I broke it up into different.
Those sound like some old Legends live auctions and long ass ones.
Hey, I sat there almost all of them too. I used to love that.
Those auctions, that was a classic, man. Oh man, but yeah, I'd have to listen to some old Bob Lazier. I've heard that name before.
Yeah,
but yeah, and you know, Steve, you saying like a little bit more north of the Area 51. I could believe that because it's too many eyes and too many people want to jack around with Area 51. Wasn't it a couple years back, Steve, where there was some people like a movement where they wanted to storm the area?
That was
last year.
Oh, really?
I think they said COVID. The aliens sent the COVID to stop.
Oh man!
From invading.
Yeah, and they wanted to storm it.
They wanted to storm it. They were going to do it. Oh man!
For me, my opinion is, I'm not 100% that there are aliens that have come to Earth, but for me, the biggest thing that makes me think they are is because when you have fighter pilots, when you have pilots of airplanes, major airliners,
right at them,
and they're like, we see something here, we don't know what it is, but it's in our airspace. It's just kind of going along beside us.
Yeah,
and then it's gone.
That's freaky. That is, I gotta admit, that's freaky, bro. I don't have answers, but
hey, Hialeah, when next time you come here, ask to see the photo my wife took of what she saw outside of her plane flying to Buffalo last year.
Okay.
And you're gonna go, what the hell is this, man?
All right.
She's got it on her phone, so just make sure you ask me. It's pretty cool.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean,
but legend, my dad was in the Air Force at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base when Roswell was going on. He was young, and he saw that he saw him bring the stuff in. You know, it was called Wright. It was called Wright Airfield at the time. They brought it in, and he told me and my dad was a quiet guy. He didn't talk much at all. Come home from work, drink a few beers, and go to bed, and same thing. But when you talked about this is the most I think I ever talked with my dad, man.
Damn. So he's seen it. He knows they were doing some stuff.
There was a hangar that I'm talking nobody could go in. He says there was high-ranking government officials that came there, and the guard said it'd be best if you just leave. You're not going in there.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I mean, there's all kinds of talk about on the Air Force Base about what happened. But they said they brought the wreckage of that one in Roswell to the hangar, and what he said most of the talk was there were 4 aliens that they found, 2 alive and 2 dead, and they did. I mean, the 2 that alive were hurt, but they didn't know what to do with them. That's just the story got, that's, it's just, my dad, I don't never remember my dad ever telling me a lie. So it really stuck with me. I was like, man, I was like, could this be true? Nah. Is he pulling my leg? Yeah. But more later on in life, I was like, damn, man, I
You
think
start seeing some of them
some
people.
of this could be true. I don't know how much, but he was actually there because I was born at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. That's where I was born before I moved here.
Dude, that's scary, but really freaking awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's scary. And when you watch the podcast, if you watch that Joe Rogan podcast, man, he said I think he says he saw 12 ships, but he put his hand on one and he was new. And he said, I got reprimanded for touching that.
Oh,
and he said, but I never got to mess with none of the others. He said they departmentalize everything. Good, man.
Yeah, he said that they separated people. Like, you worked on one thing, but you didn't know what anybody else
like me and Hialeah, we're working
Stuff
on
came to you?
propulsion.
Yeah.
And he said, so good, man.
Somebody else was talking about Lazier, and he said he went out with Lazier on a highway near Area 51. And he said, now you watch. At this particular time,
Wednesday night at when it got dark is when they did their test. They said that was
they knew wasn't going to be anyone else on this road, and that's when they test flew some of these things.
Oh,
to see how the propulsion and different things on. And he said you saw pilots that are doing things that you didn't see them do with any other equipment, any other ships or anything. Space, airplanes.
I want Hialeah to watch that one. So, man, you got to watch that Hialeah.
That's good. They didn't like freak a wreck it.
But he says, Legend, he says there's no controls. There's only this little reactor in the middle. And he goes, there's no controls. So I can't tell you how they control this thing. He goes, they wouldn't, like they said, like me and Hialeah's on propulsion. You guys are on the outside of the craft, and they don't let them talk to each other. They don't want them all to know everything.
I'm thinking maybe if they like put their hand or their DNA or something on something, and then they control it from their mind. I don't know, man.
Yeah, or if there was a computer back in that day that the computer controlled it. I don't know, but he said there was no wiring. Zero wiring. So you're like, well, how the hell
that's freaking insanity, man.
And the way he said that when he first was introduced to the reactor, that the guy, was so happy to get another guy back because he lost his partner. I think they said there was an explosion. They were trying to drill into the core of this thing. And freaking killed some of them. That's what the theory is anyway. But so he says, I want you to try to touch it. He goes, when he tried, he couldn't. He said it just felt like it was just, you couldn't get near this thing. He said it was so weird. Man, it's such a good show, man.
Like maybe like it was pushing away from him.
Yeah,
or there was a resistance.
The way it works, it's like it does. It's not propelled. It's drawn to other things or something. The way he explained it. Oh man, it's so good.
Well, maybe if there was a place in that thing that would if they could put some kind of like coordinates in it, star coordinates or something.
Or maybe it's something with I don't know how it, I don't know how it applies.
So those damn creatures must have tapped in Space Sector 2814, and Hal wasn't there to protect us.
Yeah, what I mean?
We need that damn Green Lantern up there, man, to watch our backs.
They fly with a ring.
Hey, he said when you would get below it, Legend, when you get below the craft itself, you couldn't see it from below. It was invisible. He goes, it's the weird. He goes, I don't care if you guys believe me or not, but this is what I saw.
Hey, Steve, Steve, I don't know if I believe all that, dude. I'm gonna watch it. I
want you to just watch it. Just watch him.
I don't know, dude. It just seems like it just gets more and more fanatical. Now you can't see it from underneath.
Oh yeah, it's weird, dude. It's like
the guy sounds like he's feeding you what you want to hear, almost. He's trying to make it even more magical.
Just watch it, and you just tell me if you believe this guy or not. You know how this guy got the job? He had a car, Hialeah, and he put a rocket. He made a rocket engine work in his car, and he was out racing everybody.
Shit.
So they want somebody who would think outside of the box to try to figure out how this ship worked. So he goes, that's the only reason I could think they would want me, because I was no. He said they erased all of his records, all kinds of shit, man.
Steve, I don't know, dude. I don't know.
You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it.
The more I hear, the more skeptical I'm.
Yeah,
You
that
watch
Bob
it. You
guy,
watch it. And you'll be, if you think this guy's telling the truth, like I do. I'm like, I try to pick him apart. I was like, no, Nate, but he's told this story for 30 years and it never ever changes.
Never changes.
How do you keep a story together that good?
And then they could also test him like they did old Barney and Betty by putting them under the hypnosis or the lie detector stuff and everything. It's just too bad there's not more of the Bobs out there. I mean, the sad thing is old Barney and Betty, they passed away. So we only got like mostly audio tapes and things of that nature. But man, I wish there was more like firsthand experience with those aliens and getting it on freaking camera and stuff. But I understand that like there ain't no way they're going to get no cameras near any of that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? They don't want to scare the public and have that mass hysteria and stuff. But hell, we got mass hysteria with the COVID, so why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Aliens?
Hey, Legend, Ricky wants to know what arcade game we got back there.
Oh, this is the Dowdy's Mame Arcade. It's got like over 7,000. Well, actually, it probably has more than that. There's about 6,000 Nintendo games on there, and I only have all the United States of America NAs. I don't have I got some PAL on there like Smurfs, but it's got Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Master System, Sega Genesis. What else has it got? Normal arcade games, Laserdisc games, Neo Geo, Game Boy Advance. God, it's got a shit ton of stuff in there. Took me 9 months. I built that bad boy myself out in the garage. Took me 9 months. I had Project Arcade, a book written by some guy named something St. Clair, but it's on Amazon. It's called Build Your Own. It's Project Arcade, how to build your own multiple arcade emulator. And I got it all on there, man. I was going to tell Woodard for Deadtober, I was going to do a Maniac Mansion from the Nintendo Entertainment System on there. Fire it up, play some old Nintendo's horror games.
It took you 9 months, and then you had your baby.
Yeah, that was around that time. My firstborn, he was already born, and he was chilling. But yeah, I would come home after work, and I'd work on that arcade machine. And it took me about 9 months because the woodworking, I'd never done woodworking before, so I had to learn how to use a router and table saw, all that kind of stuff, sander. And then while on the weekends normally, it was kind of hot during the day. So that was when I was working on the computer side. It's got an old Windows, I want to say it's a Windows XP computer in there running all these old emulators and stuff. But it still works good. Yeah. But thanks. Good question, Ricky.
Yeah. He's pretty pleased with that. That's pretty awesome.
Well, I like that damn statue you got. Ricky's got that kick-ass Wolverine and Hulk statue reminiscent of their first meeting in Hulk 180, 181. Pretty cool. Yeah, man, aliens, that's definitely I highly recommend if y'all ever catch any of those things on documentary or those usually it's on I want to say Travel Channel or some of those. If y'all have DirecTV or cable, watch some of those shows, man. DVR them because they're freaking awesome.
It's awesome.
That one series I think is called Hanger. I want to say it's Hanger something. You see that on Netflix? It's pretty cool. It shows the presidents and then a whole bunch of different little segments with witnesses, and there's some crazy shit in there. Hialeah would be like, no way.
One thing, if y'all, one thing I liked, it was, and this is a comic book thing, but it was called Letter 44 by Oni Press, and I'm trying to remember the dude who wrote it. I want to say Charles Soule, but it may not be Charles Soule, but that pops in my head. But it's called Letter 44, and it talks about the new president coming in, and he's reading the letter from the 44th president, talking about how they have aliens and shit like that. And then the 45th president has to make some tough decisions. But that was a good little series by Oni Press that had to do with aliens and shit like that.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating stuff.
Ronald Reagan said he saw one outside of his plane.
Oh, Hot Rod?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean, God, if you ain't gonna believe the president, I don't know. They lie too. They tell a lot of.
That is crazy talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's next, D? What's next?
All right. We mentioned comic books. We mentioned presidents.
Mhm.
A book that just come out, The Department of Truth.
Yeah,
So
that's what.
let's talk about
Excellent.
JFK.
Okay, hell yeah.
Okay, JFK is
Yeah,
another
I thought
thing.
that's a
man, I
solid
watched a lot
segue
of.
there.
Y'all are really gonna love my JFK stories.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, man,
All
I
right,
watched every
did one
show there
person
is
do
on
it?
JFK.
Did
man.
multiple people do it? Did no one do it and he's still somewhere out there?
All right, I'll tell you mine real quick. My aunt, well, it's not my aunt. She's old enough to be my aunt, but it's my dad's first cousin. Her name's Beverly Oliver. Now it's Beverly Oliver Massey. You could look her up, Beverly Oliver or Beverly Oliver Massey on the internet here. God damn, there's so many great stories I could tell you this. All right, so you may have heard about this gal on the grass. She had a blonde hair and a little like handkerchief thing. They called her the
like the babushka lady, or
the babushka lady. Yeah. And that was my supposedly, if she's telling the truth, you never know. She gets a little far fetched in the story sometimes. But well, she says she was the babushka lady. She had a camera on her and her camera, I can't remember the name of the camera, but there's documentaries on YouTube about it. Beverly Oliver, JFK. She had a camera, but Secret Service or some suits took her camera. She never got that camera back, but she was right up on the freaking deal where the car was driving, and they took the camera away. And but anyway, that's that little story. And she also was a dancer / singer at this club that was across from Jack Ruby's club. I can't remember the name of Jack Ruby's club, but the club she danced at and sang at was across the street. Now, when she told my grandmother, and that's my grandmother's niece and all this kind of stuff like that years ago, she was a dancer and all this, my dad, he'd be like nudging, and he, I was too young to even understand, but
Right.
I think she was possibly maybe even, I hope, and I don't think she's watching this, hope not, but I think she was probably like a topless dancer. Very, very beautiful in the younger years, still beautiful. But she was a dancer across there. And true story, this swear on the Holy Bible, King James, I got pictures of Costner myself. But old Oliver Stone, the guy that did the JFK movie, they hired my dad's first cousin, my second cousin, to be technical advisor over the scenes where all the women were dancing at the clubs and stuff. So my cousin Beverly, she got to meet Kevin Costner, and they've been friends ever since. Ever since when Costner comes into Dallas and plays with his band, my cousin Beverly gets to hang out. They always ask her to come hang out. Her and her husband and that she chills on the his big ass touring bus with them and have supper together and stuff and shoot the shit. And it's true story. So she knows Costner too. But I do believe, as far as the shooter, I believe it's just Lee Harvey Oswald. But one thing I want to let y'all know of, one of the Mandela effects is when I was a kid, I remember the car that was driving the president. And I remember there was the driver. I remember 4 people in the car. I remember the driver. I remember Governor Connolly in the front passenger seat. And then I remember JFK and Jackie in the back seat. But if you go back and look at the film or look at the history books today, you'll see that there's 6 total people in the car with this weird plexiglass right in between. So now it has driver, Secret Service guy in the front, Governor Connolly's back behind the passenger side, behind the driver's the wife of Governor Connolly, and then you got the president and his wife in the back seat. But when I remember watching it as a kid, I only remember 4 people in the car, but now there's 6 people in the car in this reality. So that's kind of its own Mandela effect. That's its own little weird ass shit. But as far as the actual conspiracy theory, I believe it was one person. Now, if you look back at some of the film, here's another. This is kind of going into like the alternate reality Mandela effect stuff. But the way I remembered it as a kid, I remember a piece of his head getting blown off, landing on the back of the trunk. I remember Jackie going to the back of the trunk, trying to grab that piece that came off his skull.
She definitely goes to the back and grabs something.
That grabbed
something.
Turned
around and she went back.
That's what I remember.
I didn't know what she was doing, though. I never knew what she was doing.
But when I look at the film footage today, if you watch really close, it looks like kind of right before all of the stuff, the shit hits the fan, it looks like she grabs something in between the back seats, pulls something out, and it looks like she's putting something under his head and pulling a trigger, and is in the trajectory of the shot like goes up like that. The blood thing goes like straight up. And
Holy
it looks like
Jesus.
she pulls out a damn, like, I want to say like a snub nose or some shit, pops him under the chin, and then she puts it back in the back seat before she goes to the back of the car. But in my original reality, I just remember her trying to grab the skull piece. But upon further like research of that film, that Zasper film or whatever the hell Zapruder film, it looks like it looks like she actually like gets the gun and pops him under the chin. One funny thing about that, the night before, she was in Houston and she gave a speech to a lot of Hispanic folks in some place. I can't remember, but it was predominantly just Hispanic speakers. She spoke in Spanish. There was some people that took that speech, ran it backwards on a record player, and it had some really scary shit like she was going to kill him. It had some of that satanic type talk that she was going to kill somebody. And then that kind of goes with the whole snub nose trick. But like I said, with some of these kind of events, like I'm so far fetched out there, man. I think like someone is actually manipulating reality. So as far as that shooting goes, man, I don't know what the fuck happened, honestly, because there's so much different stuff. And like ever since I learned about the Mandela effect, and when William Thorpe says, Rob, how many people were in the Kennedy car? I said, dude, and he said, don't look at the net, don't read anything about it or anything, just how many was in there. I said, it's simple, it's 4. I've seen the damn videos in school, learning about it and stuff. The museum up in Detroit, Michigan, has a 4-seater that was supposedly the same car, but it only seated 4, which I find kind of weird. I call that residual evidence because that museum didn't change, but everything else kind of changed. So I don't know, man. That's the Mandela effect mixed in with the whole JFK. So if you ever watch it on the rewind, try to investigate that speech she gave in Houston the night before, and then try to see, like, you can't really see it that
Shoot,
well.
I'll be going after we get off this show.
It looks like she's grabbing some kind of damn thing, puts it under, or she's kind of like checking on him. Maybe she like even like goes like that in there, but it's weird as hell. And I don't remember that. See, I just remember her immediately, forward, and he like leans forward and to the back. The trajectory of that's all off now. So it looks like Connolly still gets shot by, of course, Lee Harvey missing, I think, the first shot. So he still takes one, but before it was always like, what did they say? They said back to the right or forward into the back or something like that.
Back into the left. Back into the left.
Yeah, it looks totally different now. So you'll kind of have to look, but that's just another weird one, man, that I just can't figure out, But definitely for me personally, with the Mandela effect beliefs I have, it's changed from what I remember as a kid. You know what I mean? Especially the whole fucking 6 people in the car. I always remembered 4 in the car,
I'll tell you two theories that I've heard. Now, first, I think it was just the single shooter, Lee Harvey.
Yeah.
But 2 theories I've heard. There's a guy on the side of the road with the umbrella.
Yes.
And they said this guy was the guy that was coordinating the whole thing. And when he put the umbrella up, that meant it's on. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
Now,
I didn't know about that, but that sounds pretty good. Like he was in on it with.
And another one was there's one of the 2 Secret Service agents in the front seat. They had a gun there, and when they heard the shooting, the one guy reached down to get the gun, and the trigger went off, and that's the one that blew his head.
Oh, snap!
So there's 2 more potential. I've also heard there's a guy in the sewer right there to shoot up when they were coming around that curve. Then you got the grassy knoll. Then you had the tracks going over the underpass. So, I mean, there's so many different ways to look at this one.
I just can't see Lee Harvey hitting anyone from way up there with that old ass rifle. And maybe
it was a modern rifle back then.
I just don't see him being the only guy involved in this. It takes way more people to coordinate something like that.
Yeah.
I think what happened before, he was in with the mob, and then they put out a 10 most wanted list. They pretty much signed their death warrant when they did that. So, I mean, but I just think there's at least 2 shooters. Maybe more. I don't know, but we don't know. They had silencers back then. We don't, you just because you didn't hear it don't mean they didn't. Government's got everything. Military's got everything they need.
I mean, then he went to Russia and he was there for a while, and then he just come back, and then he was in a lot with Cuba as well. So
yeah, what Legend says about his wife, you think, man, he was messing around with Marilyn Monroe.
I was going to say that
about this shit. Don't think she don't know. Women know.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that makes me want to go back, and now I got to go back and look at all this shit just to make sure. Man.
Hialeah. You're quiet over there.
All right. I have never heard that legend about
Me neither.
shooting him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that I've never heard of it. Yeah.
I do remember the only 4 people in that car, so I am going back to watch that.
Yeah, check that. And then if you see if that looks different, go ahead. Let me show you now. If you see any Republican heavy stuff on here, like a Ted Cruz or my cousin here bashing Obama, that's just her. I don't agree with that kind of shit. But here's my boy Costner. That's when they were in Nevada, and then she also loves Elvis. Like the impersonators going to Branson, she loves Elvis. My other dad's cousin loves Elvis too.
She looks like Marilyn Monroe somewhat.
There's her again with him. That's when they're on his little touring bus.
Nice.
Kevin and I.
Check a bow wow.
Yeah, and they she claims she was the babushka woman, and I do believe it because it looked like her from the back, and she used to wear those little scarves when she came to my grandmother's house back in the day, and her dad. Which we all called Uncle Frosty. He was a damn hoot too. He really was a good man. But yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it though. But Hialeah, you remember 4 in the car. So after that, like investigate some of that Mandela effect stuff. I have on the Legends Truth playlist on my channel. You can learn about a lot of the Mandela effects, and then there's a movie called Mandela Effect on Amazon Prime, which is also really good.
Yeah,
it's kind of sad, but really good.
This is what I think. Okay.
Yeah, they all of them messed around with Marilyn, by the way.
A comedian did too, and before Watchmen, he banged her. He's the one that gave her the pills.
I believe that it was a conspiracy, and I'm going to tell you why. I think there was more than one shooter.
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole thing with him being in Russia, him getting caught, and the first thing out of his mouth, "I'm not a patsy." Who says that?
Yeah.
Who says that in that? Who says that? So something was wrong.
The higher ups did not like JFK. That's for damn sure.
Exactly. There was a lot of people that did not like JFK.
Mm-hmm.
There was he wasn't the most popular man. No, he was not. Another thing that leads me to that is when Lee Harvey gets shot by Jack Ruby.
Yep.
How in the world does that transpire?
Yeah.
That does not make sense to me.
Sounds like Jeffrey Epstein, huh?
Yeah, there's no reason that there could have been something where maybe Lee Harvey Oswald was going to implicate Jack Ruby somehow in the whole thing. But I don't know. How the hell, if there's all these cops around and they're in the basement floor of that damn police station,
exactly.
How are you going to let some dude like that who's probably got a rap sheet and is known to be involved with the mob and some of those people, them Jimmy Hoffa?
I would think he would be more with the mob, involved with them and finish him off so that they can't talk.
Yeah, for that simple, those questions right there, that
something ain't right.
Something ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not. I don't have the answers. I love the JFK movie, but there's inconsistencies in that movie too. Like the whole Kevin Bacon character. That character did not exist.
That was.
Hey man, look at those credits at the end of the movie. Look for that Beverly Oliver Massagee in there for the little dancers. She taught him how to do the shakes.
Real quick, back to the one thing that I think messed everything up for them is that Zapruder film.
Yes,
we're not banking.
They did not think that would ever happen.
That is the wrench that got thrown in the sprocket. That's what messed it up. Mm-hmm. That Zapruder film created us talking about it. 50 years, 55 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I believe there's something up. Who exactly we'll probably never know, but somebody coming out and saying I'm not I'm the patsy.
Mhm.
That doesn't jive with me right
Yeah.
off the bat.
Have you guys ever seen the correlation from what happened to Kennedy to what happened to Lincoln? How
Well,
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
is so
Yeah.
freaking awesome, dude.
Crazy.
One ran from from the site to a theater, and the other ran from the theater to it was crazy to a warehouse or wherever he did it on the school book.
Kennedy's secretary was named
Just a
Lincoln.
ton of them, man. You know, like one of them's secretary was Lincoln, and the others was Kennedy.
Yeah.
Just that
It
kind of
almost
stuff.
sounds like Vince McMahon rehashing some stories he used in 80s wrestling to like the Attitude Era or something.
Yeah. There was a record when I was a kid. There was a little 45,
Mhm.
and it talked about that exact thing, the correlation with Lincoln and Kennedy.
It's crazy.
It's almost 100 exact years apart.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yes.
man.
It's
I gotta be honest, I did not expect everyone to go to conspiracy on that one. I really didn't.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
some.
man.
There's definitely some shenanigans.
Another one to me is, how did they catch him so fast?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did they catch him like walking down the street and they just two cops caught him, or
Two cops one cop stopped him,
Yeah.
and he shot that guy.
Yes, he killed that guy.
And then he took off to the theater, and they said the reason they actually the quote reason that they got him was because he ran in without a ticket.
That's cool. And how many cops showed up at that theater for him?
All of them.
Exactly.
All of them.
It was
When
And then
those
Bobby
shots
Kennedy dies too. Come on, man.
were,
Bobby Kennedy dies too.
Yeah.
They both were involved with this 10 most wanted list and put those mafia guys on there. You're asking for it. Man.
Everyone that was watching on that, like the grassy area, all of them were questioned and searched. Like I said, my cousin's camera, it was one of those video cameras too. Like I said, I don't know what kind it was. She has like this there's these documentary type deals on YouTube where you can tell her she's on there talking about the assassination and what camera she had that got taken, but I don't remember what freaking model it was or whatever.
It's crazy.
Illuminati.
Yeah, you never know. Secret service, secret higher service, higher powers up there. The powers that be is what me and Woodard used to call it in WCW. The powers that be.
Yeah, the powers that be. We always hear of. They say, "Who the hell is they?" I want to know who they are.
Who are these
Tell me who
aliens?
they are. I might believe something.
They are the aliens. That's who it is. They're coordinating the whole thing.
Yeah.
Man, I can't wait for Hialeah to watch freaking Bob Lazar and
I'll watch it.
Rogan podcast. That shit is so. He's gonna be like, no way. But you're gonna, I want you to look at the guy, Hialeah. Look at Bob. Just think if he's making this up, just him. Try to like break him down. Like, is he sweating? Is he nervous? Is he?
Yeah.
They've done studies on him, and they said, man, he just looks cool as can be, man.
Hey, but you know what, Steve? Maybe that's exactly what he believes. So
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you can convince yourself of anything, man.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
To quote Seinfeld, if you believe it, it's not a lie.
You know, Kevin Costner believed so much. I mean, he was able to build that fucking baseball field in Field of Dreams.
God, I wish that was true, right? Well, that is still there. You know, that's still there to this day, right?
Yeah, that baseball field. Yeah.
I think they either last year or maybe they're supposed to this year. Like they were going to have a game there, the Yankees against somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Snap, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I still wasn't invited.
Hey, Daryl, going back to the aliens thing, when you said that he went, you know, they did it on the Wednesday. He also said they got cocky. Hialeah, he started inviting his friends, and they were like going up there and having parties, and you know, he was a kid still. And he said that they were looking. He said, and then man, there was some agents came up there, and it was pitch black, and they couldn't see nothing. And one of them dropped something, and it rolled to them. And then they turned, and then they had night goggles on and all this shit. Man, I was like, that'd be enough for me to be like, hell no, I'm never gonna hear that shit again, man. It was freaking crazy. But he got cocky, man. After he got lost the job. He lost the job, they said, because he was listening to his wife and she was cheating on him, and they didn't tell him. And because they didn't want him to be unstable. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Steve, I don't know, man. The more you keep talking, the more I don't believe this guy, dude. I'm sorry, bro.
Just
The
watch
more
and
you
see.
talk,
Hey,
the more
all of that stuff is all true.
Shit, dude. This guy's full of shit. I'm sorry. I'll watch it, but
He's going into it right now saying, "Here,
You're going into it already not believing nothing. You're gonna change your mind.
you're helping me make my mind up, dude. The more you talk.
Wait till you watch. You're gonna say, how the hell do you even make up shit like this? That's what you're gonna say, because I said it. I said, how the fuck do you even make this up, man? That this works like this and this does this.
I'll watch it, Steve. I promise.
You gotta watch it, man. I'm giving you a week.
I've watched part of it already. I actually did start watching that. All right, what's next, D? What's the next one we're gonna tackle?
let's see. Anyone y'all want to pick?
Oh, no, man, it's okay.
I want Hialeah to pick
for that
since he's
last
Doubting
one.
Thomas.
Segue for this one.
We want Doubting Thomas to pick up above us.
You know what? I do.
believes in.
I'm on the show on Fridays, and we talk a lot of this stuff. And one that came up was the 9/11.
Ooh.
That came up a couple, and they were talking about stuff that I had never like got into, like just the way the buildings fell, and
Yeah,
stuff.
that there was explosives planted inside,
Yeah,
detonated, so and all that.
yeah. How do you guys feel about that stuff? Because
Man, I don't know. Like, man, I saw it. I woke up. It was on the news. I think my wife was already on the way to her college classes at the time.
crazy day.
Dude, it was it a Tuesday or a Thursday?
That's a great question.
I don't even remember.
I remember I was on my way to work, but I don't remember what day.
Tuesday. I think it was a Tuesday.
Yeah,
I do too. I was at work, and I thought World War III
Kevin.
started, and I refused to work.
Yeah.
I want to go home.
I don't think I went in that day. But man, when while I was watching, I saw that second plane hit, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And then I kind of figured it was like terrorism or kamikazes or something like that. I thought they was someone like you said, Steve. I thought it was some World War III action going on. But yeah, but when those buildings kind of came down, it looked like it was. It's kind of like you said. I mean, it looks like that's how they implode the buildings. You know what I mean? It looked like it kind of did that kind of
instead
deal.
of tipping or going, it just went.
Yeah, it just went
down.
straight down. So, but yeah, I don't know. I've never really heard or looked into that conspiracy yet. But that you never know. I mean, hell, if they had a ground game going, and those dudes probably, if they had dudes on there that planted bombs, or hell, more likely they just wore them on their chest and just all hit the button at the same time. You never know. But yeah, that's a good way to kind of think about that, man. What a sad day in history, man.
It was a horrible day. It's like, Steve, I was at work and I just wanted to get out and go pick up my kids and just be home with my kids, and it was terrifying. We did the show I was talking to you about, and they brought that up, and they believed that yes, there was something funny the way the buildings fell. I don't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, I went against. I'm kind of, I went against. I didn't believe that, because those buildings. Okay, those buildings weren't constructed like normal buildings. They had an exoskeleton. If you guys, there's a documentary just on with the architect that built those buildings, and it's not like solid in the middle. It's an exoskeleton.
Mm-hmm.
Those buildings, and how they fought, man, I don't know, but yeah, it makes sense. It looks like it was a planned demolition, and it went straight down.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless if you believe that, those planes still hit those buildings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, regardless.
And those planes were still loaded with rocket, jet fuel.
Yeah, full,
right?
Because they barely traveled.
They barely
supposed to be going all the way to California, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
So regardless of what you believe, those buildings were massive, and they swallowed up those jets.
Yeah.
Okay. That's real. That happened.
Mm-hmm.
So they fell that way. Yeah, man. You know what? They fell that way. That's what I believe. Did the government know something? In my heart, God, I hope not.
Yeah.
Hey, man, let me ask you guys this. If you know the plane has hit the first building, are you going to stay in the second building for any reason whatsoever? Like, it's not that bad.
Steve,
They
Steve,
didn't know it was a plane that hit it. That was
Steve,
the biggest thing.
Steve, they don't know what happened. And two, when you see an accident on the roadway, don't you stop and look?
Hey,
And don't you gotta wait for everybody else
I
looking?
promise you this. If I was in that other building, they told them to stay, even when they knew.
Wait a second. Don't you think that those people in that other building, they were all in those freaking windows just looking to see what the hell was going on?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
I'm
said
saying, but
they
would
felt
you have
something
left?
shake. They thought maybe it was an earthquake. And then
Exactly.
they saw flames coming out of the other building. And people were like, it's nothing to worry about. They got fire people. They'll take care of that.
Mhm.
They didn't think anything about their building.
Exactly.
Because their angle, they couldn't see what it was anyway. They just probably saw smoke or something,
Yeah.
Something's going on.
Yeah.
Look, we couldn't even. I saw that second plane hit.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody could have imagined that.
Right.
Nobody. So imagine those people in that other building. They were more clueless than us, because at least we were probably, they probably had TVs, but they were probably looking out their window.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh man, I'm
It's
sorry guys, but this is just.
I know they knew about it because it was an announcement for them to stay where they are.
Mhm.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
They might have stayed. I promise you, my ass would have been gone. I went down, out, away from that shit. Home. I wanted to go home. I wanted to go home from Florida.
You would think so. But you don't know, man. You just don't know.
I know them aliens are real and you don't.
There's another conspiracy on the plane that when the passengers knew shit was going out, they bum rushed the cockpit and just started
Man, I live right over MacDill, man. That plane took off. I'm pretty sure from MacDill.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Hey, they shot that plane down, man.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that, Gretzky.
Yeah.
I don't believe that, man. When he gets told, when he's at that school and he gets told,
Mm-hmm.
that was an honest look of freaking shock.
Yeah.
I don't believe that, man. I don't think. God, I hope, man, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I've heard them say that, but I also don't believe it either. I think the crew, came together, some of the strong-willed ones, and they're like, fuck this, and then they saved, who knows how many people they saved, probably a shit ton, because we don't know if that one was heading to the White House or some other big ass Capitol building or whatever. So those people put their lives on the line, and God bless them for that. But
the people that was on that plane that went down to Pennsylvania, they knew what had already happened.
Yeah, exactly. Flight 93. It's Flight 93.
Flight 93.
But some alternate theories. One that it was a missile that hit the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
That I know a lot of people have heard that one. One that I think is extremely far-fetched is the government staged the whole thing to start the war, but the way they did it is they took the planes took off, and then they landed somewhere, got all the people off, and then flew them back into the building. And then when the buildings come down, they put the passports of the people that they quote pinned it on, and that they said, and they apparently they said they found those passports in fairly good condition, and that's why they found them that way, because they kind of snuck them into the ashes. I don't believe that in the least, but
I don't believe that, because remember
very far-fetched.
Bin Laden finally came out and said that it was his crew that did it, so that's kind of why I don't believe that one. But
yeah.
Hialeah, do you believe the weight of that plane being where it went through could cause it to go down like it did? You know what I mean? You said it's because it penetrated that and went to the middle. Did the weight of that plane maybe crush those floors and cause a domino effect?
It was the gas.
That started a massive fire, and I don't know how many floors, and that takes time, man. It's not just gonna, collapse the whole thing.
Yeah, I was talking about just the weight of the plane being on those floors. They're not made to take the weight of a plane.
Yeah, with a little bit of fire, and then they'll wait at the same time.
Same
the fire
time, and then you know what I mean. So it's in the middle, right?
Yeah.
So then it starts burning, and the weight maybe, you know, I don't know.
It melts. It wasn't made of. The thing
about that actually went out the other side, though.
Yeah, the thing about those buildings, I don't believe they were made with concrete. It wasn't like poured concrete. It was like more metal exoskeleton.
Even in the center, even in the floors.
Maybe they did have concrete, but it wasn't like a normal building made of solid concrete. It's crazy, man. I don't believe in conspiracies. I think, you know what? I think we got caught with our pants down. I mean, he tried to. He hit them before, what, in '92 in the parking garage and stuff.
In the '90s, I know it was under the Clinton administration. I do remember that.
Exactly, and they didn't go after him. They didn't go after him for whatever reason, and they caught some of them, but that was their target for 10 years before. You know, it was not something new, and they figured out a way, man. They figured out a way, and they did it.
I mean, it was a way that no one would have thought of. I mean,
exactly.
Who would have really imagined that? Well, they actually said there was one guy that worked at the World Trade Center that thought that was very vulnerable, but he still didn't really think, well, it's going to happen.
Well, but think about it. You don't think it's going to happen, but they took them years to do it, dude, and they have patience. You know, their hate for us is real, dude. You know what? We always. You know, we always want to be the heroes and all that, but we're looked at as the evil empire. Everybody, you know, the jealousy is real. Everybody wants, you know, the jealousy is real. And if you look back in history, you know, I just saw this show, Barbarians. It's about the Romans and the German barbarians, and the Romans were considered, you know, the big dogs and all that, but they kind of made the barbarians the heroic, you know, the rebels, us in the Revolutionary War. We're considered, you know, you think about us, we would be Britain we're Britain, and the, you know, revolutionary, everybody's trying to get at us. So
there's so many like different movies in history, kind of like you said, Romans, like Caesar being the top dog, and, you know, having all that. Then he got stabbed in the back by that Brutus guy. And then, you know, there's the classic, what's another one? You know, of course, I had some good ones lined up that they all kind of relate to that. You know, the Braveheart, William Wallace going after, you know, the more, you know, powerful and stuff, but the underdogs always like coming back and putting one over on the big dogs, you know.
And we're the big dogs, guy. And you know what? We got caught with our pants down, dude. We didn't. We were cocky. We were cocky. And you can't.
Hulk Hogan was cocky, and the Ultimate Warrior beat him.
Exactly, it happens. It happens, dude. And lucky for us that we have the big old Pacific Ocean and the big old Atlantic Ocean.
But remember the one before 9/11, the December 7th, 1941, where the Japanese came across the Pacific and said, "Well, let's."
That's one I want to talk about too.
Let's get into it, because that falls right in line with what we're talking about right now.
Because one of the conspiracy theories for Pearl Harbor was that the government knew about it and kind of let it go so we could actually get into
the
World War II.
That's kind of the wait and see kind of method. You know, I don't know if that happened or not. It could have, or like, I just don't have that knowledge. But you know, it could have. You never know. I mean, that'd be so shitty as could be. But
exactly.
Yeah, I don't think. And that was FDR. I don't know if I see FDR having a play like that. He seemed like a pretty good guy, bringing that New Deal. He really wanted to fix us. You know, I don't know, but
big soft and carry big stick.
I don't believe that as well. I know Japan, they messed up in. I believe their ambassador was supposed to declare war before that attack, and actually it happened after the attack. So I'm with you, Legend. I don't believe that. Well,
I don't believe that one. Yeah.
And
what else about that one?
You know, I don't believe that because, let's say you did want to get into the war. You don't need that excuse. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You just join up with your buddies and go do it.
Exactly.
They said ahead of time. He said, the president said, if we are not attacked, we will not get involved. It's their thing.
Okay, that's a great point, but I don't believe that because you're not gonna risk your freaking Pacific Fleet just to get into a war.
Yeah.
That's senseless.
Yeah, because they
War
lost
is
to Arizona.
in
They lost a
itself.
bunch of shits, man.
You know, it's just senseless. So
I don't believe it either, but I'm just saying I'm throwing that theory out there because that is one that's been out there.
I heard that too, but I just don't. I'm not with that. I'm not with that.
We can all agree on that the 2 bombs that were dropped were real, and they were retaliation. So that's terrible. Because I mean,
Teddy, I'm wrong.
Dude, those bombs were pretty big, man. Have y'all ever seen that alternate reality show called it's on Amazon Prime? It was called Man in the High Castle.
Yes, I watched
I saw the first season. I have not gone back through it.
You got to get back to it. Like it was kind of slow to start, but that final episode or the final episode in season one
was where it really made it good. Yeah,
where he used them sticks to go to another reality and saw like how America should be.
Yeah, they were showing the films when they showed the films of America winning and what how
that was a good show right there.
It was the Nazis from the mountains, the Colorado's over, and California was for the Japanese had California, and then there was that one little neutral zone in the mountains
in the middle, in
the middle of that.
Oh man, Daryl, you got to watch that Man in the High Castle. All 4 seasons was awesome.
I gotta watch it too because you know what? I started watching it and it's like you say, it's slow.
Yeah.
So
you got to get through to where Legend said to the end of that first one. You're like, holy shit! Now I
was so mad that guy, Master Tagomi or whatever, or he wasn't Sensei.
Yeah. I know which one you're talking about. The Japanese guy,
the guy that played Shang Tsung in the Mortal Kombat movie. That actor, he was on our. I want to say he was on our second Mainframe Comic-Con. And man, I fucking wanted to ask him so many questions about that Man in the High Castle, but one of the other guys got to.
He was the good guy. It was weird.
Yeah,
he turned out.
He was a good guy. Yeah, he was good.
He was like they were supposed to be honorable and this and that, and the rest kind of weren't. What about the other guy was terrible, but in his alternate reality, he was good.
Yeah, John Smith. Yeah, Open Field.
Yes,
John Smith.
Yeah.
John Smith. Yeah, he was a good. And then we find out old John Smith, like, he was an American soldier, but when the Nazis won, he had to go to their side, or they would have just killed his whole family or something. Yeah.
I would say through the first 6-7 episodes, I was really invested with the characters.
Yeah,
they really built them up really well. I was thinking,
because the girl could fight. They showed that she learned how to fight and shit. And then she would, you just don't all at once. You can fight. You're a girl. She was taught. She was throwing shit. I was like, yeah, man, that's pretty good. I liked it.
Gomez Comic Collector in the house. Yeah, boy. Broski's in the house.
All right, we're talking about World War II time. Let's go to Adolf.
Oh shit!
Was he man?
Yeah,
I think that dude. I think he just shot himself.
I don't think so.
You think he's still out there somewhere?
No, well, not now.
Not now. But
I mean, there were too many of those guys. Some of the bigger wigs that ended up down in Argentina. And
the biggest wig of all don't have an out. No way, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean,
if this is us and we're all high up, we're gonna have an out. Each one of us, like, man, if Hialeah flips, man, we got to kill him, and we're going here. You got to kill me. Y'all are going there.
Why do you got to kill me?
You're just right above me. Now that the boats are shooting up through here,
I think, that's one of those weird ones where. I don't know if they found didn't they find a body though?
They found all the bodies together. Well,
the Russians found a body.
Oh, damn! Why'd they have to find the body first? Because then you got questioning stuff. Because Russia, Stalin. I don't know if I could believe some of the shit they was doing because they sneaky too. We just happened to be allied with them.
The worst of them all, man. He was killing all of his guys that he thought might want his job.
Yeah, and all the people he thought was weak, he was killing them off. For that's what they had in the Red Sun comic book. When old Superman landed over there. Oh God.
That was a heck of a read too, by the way.
Yeah, Mark Millar, that Red Sun, man. Damn, they were so good. They finally released its animated counterpart. I think maybe this year. I don't know.
I think it was either last year or year before last. It's been
year.
out for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good.
Hey, D, did you see that movie about? I think it was. I want to say it was World War II. The start where Christian Bale's a kid. That something. I think it was something with the sun.
Rising Sun, is it?
Rising Sun or something? Where Christian Bale's a kid.
Yeah.
And they're in the concentration camp.
That's a Spielberg movie. That's a Spielberg.
Man, that movie was freaking. I love that movie, man. That movie was good, man.
Spielberg makes some good World War II movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they asked Christian Bale. He's a little kid at the end of the movie. He's just like lost, you know. I mean, all the crazy shit happening. They go, well, what happened? He goes, I can tell you this. Anybody would do they'll kill you for a goddamn potato. That's what he said.
Oh man.
I was like, that's what he got out of the whole war, man.
Yeah.
They were looting. Remember how they would go to the houses?
Yeah, Kevin Kelly.
Yeah, Emperor of the Sun.
Empire of the Sun.
That was good, man.
D, what do you think? What do you think about Hitler?
By the way, Gretzky said,
I think that, man, he had to have an out, man. To get to where he was, he made two mistakes. That might be his third, but I mean, trying to attack on both sides of the fronts in the winter. But that was the mistake that saved everybody.
That was his mistake.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, if he would have imagine if he teamed up with Russia, they would have took the world over probably.
Yeah.
If they teamed up instead of fought each other.
Yeah.
Thank God that Russia had 5-1 people, you know, to fight them off.
I don't know if you guys have watched The Hunt for Hitler.
No.
That is really, really good stuff. And they track stuff that a lot of the other Nazis went down to South America, and they have huge settlements.
It's in Chile. And they have huge towns in Chile.
Mm-hmm.
All they speak is German, bro.
Yeah.
How in the right, Hialeah?
I know they had even. Well, I know they've caught some since, and they brought them to trial, and they were doing those trials.
Yeah, they caught a bunch of them.
Was Hunt for Hitler that show that has Al Pacino in it?
No.
It's
a reality-based show. It's a reality.
Because I know on that Amazon there is a show where
I know which one you're talking about, Legend.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Have you seen that with Steve?
Yes.
They're hunting for
he's badass, man.
That's called The Hunters with Pacino. That's
That was really good.
I gotta watch that.
They're hunting for those bosses. Yeah, that was freaking good.
I gotta watch that. Yeah, after watching the High Castle, I guess, and I also need to watch the one Gretzky recommended too.
Hey, watch Hunters, Legend. There's a great twist at that's very entertaining. Very entertaining.
That's really good.
I do love me some Pacino, man.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites. I do. He's one of I watch all his movies. He's good in everything.
Mm-hmm.
I like Heat. I liked him in Heat.
Oh, Heat, man. Him and De Niro and
Val
Kilmer and all.
When they walked out in that one scene, they were in the the warehouse, and he's like, God damn it, he's watching us, man.
Mm-hmm.
He knew he's watching us, man.
Oh god.
I think Hitler was killed and that's done, but I do believe a lot of guys.
Do you do it? But he supposlly took cyanide, right?
Or he shot himself, whatever
I think he supposedly took cyanide. Each one of them took a pill, him and her and everybody.
Well, I heard
he gave her cyanide and he shot himself.
Yeah, that's what I heard, Daryl. I heard he gave her the medicine and then he shot himself.
Yeah. I think they said he was too scared to go through the suffering that he saw her going through. He was like,
Yep.
Which kind of makes sense, bro. You know, bullies.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what he was, bro. He was just a freaking little
damn bully.
Yeah.
That Tom Cruise movie was really good, where they showed all the attempts on where they tried to kill Hitler from within Germany.
Yeah.
A lot of the Nazis were trying to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was a lot of men on that High Castle trying to kill him too.
Hell yeah. That movie's good, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he found a way out of there. I don't know.
You think he might be down at Well, he ain't down there anymore. But
Yeah.
he went down to Chile, shaved his little mustache, maybe grew his hair long.
Yeah, Gretzky said he thinks he got out of there and lived until 1966.
Nah, I think he's done, dude. I think he was done with. That's like kind of like Boys from Brazil kind of stuff. You guys ever watch that? Or what was the other one, Marathon Man, where it was what was it?
Haven't seen that either.
You've never seen Marathon Man with Dustin Hoffman and Laurence Olivier?
Damn, I never seen it. I need to. It sounds pretty good though.
I gotta watch that too.
A Marathon Man?
I'm gonna have a marathon and watch it.
I know.
You gotta watch that movie. It's an early.
Hey, Legend, when anybody tells me there's a good movie to watch, I always write it down, and then I'm like, what do I want to watch? And then I go to that
literally just write it down.
card. And
I gotta write that down.
Hey,
too,
Marathon Man, Dustin Hoffman and Laurence Olivier, and
That's Sir Laurence Olivier.
Sir Lawrence.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Sir Lawrence.
There's a scene in that movie that you'll never forget, and all you're gonna ask yourself is it safe?
Damn.
Good, bro. It's so good.
What was that one Gretzky told me to watch? Chasing Hitler or something?
Hunting Hitler.
Hunting Hitler.
Hunting
Hitler.
Evan, don't ruin the movie, Kevin. Don't ruin
that Pacino series. I'm gonna watch that on Amazon. The Hunters.
Delete
really
comment, Kevin. Don't
really good.
delete that comment. Don't ruin the movie.
All right, I'm not gonna look at any comment.
Yeah, don't look at
I can't see him unless D puts him up because I'm on my phone.
Don't put it up. Don't put it up.
Now, Steve, I got to ask you a question because we've been on these shows together before. Were we on a show? Did we ever do a show where we showed comics against each other?
No, I never did that. My comics are too damn mess. I don't know where nothing's at.
Now, Steve, does your last name start with a W?
Yes.
All right, I know who you are, dude. Yeah. Now, do you have a YouTube page?
I have a YouTube channel, but it has no content. I told him only if I get 1,000 subscribers.
I always see that comment with the Steve W.H. and I ain't gonna say the rest, but one of the best. Always come by the old auctions. I remember that good stuff. Oh man, I love it.
All right.
So D, what's on the list? Is that it? Are we done with Hitler?
We got a few more, but
hey, you know what? We can make this a series, bro. Just knock them all out.
I know, right? We could come back every week and do some of this stuff.
Oh yeah. Dude.
Hey, yeah, I want to come back next week, but Hialeah has to watch the freaking podcast.
I'll watch it.
Yeah,
I want you
Rogan.
to link the podcast to me so I make sure I watch your eyes and I see them open.
I'll watch it.
And Joe Rogan, what's the guy's Dan something?
Bob Lazier.
Bob
Lazier.
You watched that D the podcast?
Yeah. I've
I'll
seen
watch
like documentaries on him.
Dude, I just
Lazier.
it's just so this guy was nothing. And he put a freaking motor in there.
Damn. I've seen him in some of the documentaries, but a whole show about him, I'll watch that.
Yeah, it's a whole show about him, and he's like tells you that they departmentalize everything because they don't want you to know everything. They don't want you two talking, so
took
you know
separate parts and separated everybody.
But definitely they didn't have no idea, like Hialeah said, how the shit moved and how do you operate
everything. Everybody knows a little bit.
Yeah.
And when you think you know the answers, they're changing the questions on you. Like old Piper. The Piper.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes of all time.
Yeah, that's a good quote, man.
Well, that because I came here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Got it.
All out of
I love that movie. Me and my was it the youngest or oldest? I let one of them watch it. At the very end, there was this guy, and he was banging an alien or something like that. I had to show some titties. I had to turn that off real quick. Oh man.
Hey, my favorite sayings from the man himself, Tyson. Everyone has a plan till they get punched in the face.
Oh man.
Shit goes out the window then when you get hit in the face.
I love that one. I love that one.
Dude, that is such a true thing. You can talk all the shit you want, but when you get hit in the face,
it's all over.
It's got real.
Okay, so you guys want to do another one some other time and just skip the rest of them till then?
Yeah, because we still got to talk about some Loch Ness, some Bigfoots. I mean, we can always come back to some of these too.
And the modern one, the flat Earth.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
But everyone's gonna believe in flat Earth.
Yeah. We'll find out later next time.
If Hialeah goes on the flat Earth and tells me the Earth's flat, man, I'm going down to Miami tomorrow.
There's a lot of people that believe.
There's a lot. There's a guy that works with us.
There's a ton.
There's a guy that worked with us. He was so serious about it. Yeah, I'm like, everything you said, he has an answer for too. And his favorite thing was he'd bring out the riddle me this, Steve. Riddle me this. He'd say that.
Little Edward Big action there.
Oh my goodness gracious! All right, well, we'll put the rest of them on hold. You guys want to chat about anything else?
Whatever you
like. Oh no, man, this has been pretty good, man.
Up to you
I'm
guys.
real happy with where we're at.
This is a blast, dude. It's a blast.
90 right there. 90.
90's in the house.
Conspiracies are 90. I always was more of a fan of 88 because when this baby gets to 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit.
I was a fan of that until Dale Jr. started driving the 88 car, and it didn't go very fast.
Yeah. Wasn't that old? Wasn't it old Bobby Labonte's number back in the day?
I think so. I know a lot about NASCAR. Once Earnhardt died, the way it happened,
I saw that, man.
That was me too, yeah.
Because it didn't look like such an innocent wreck, and it wasn't. That looked like, oh man, he hit the wall. He's all right.
Yeah, I remember Daryl.
We forget how fast they're actually going on that track.
You forget until you.
It looked like he just kind of like spun out and like just rammed right into it.
Yeah, he just went, and then he took, and the right turn was right into the wall.
Yeah.
Man.
Gosh.
Yeah, because you've seen some cars, Legend, flipping and fire.
Yeah, Jared
and the guy gets out. You're like,
and he gets out.
Jarrett was 88 for a while.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember Darrell Waltrip. He was like, "Woo, Mikey won. I hope Dale's okay."
Mm-hmm. I remember those names, like Waltrip and some of them old school names. I remember, of course, the King, Richard Petty,
driving that badass car, man.
He had 43, that STP, and that fin and all that.
The light blue with the Superbird with the fin, the STP, the light.
Damn, and he always wore his cowboy hat. Got that old mustache. That dude was classic.
Bro, people don't talk about Petty, bro. Petty was such a freaking badass, bro.
Oh man,
I think that's who Burt Reynolds kind
blue
of
color just for him.
When he was doing his his movie Smoking the Bandit he was like Petty. He was like, I like
yeah. They use that style, as to be Petty, yeah. Cowboy hat and mustache. Damn. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Good.
90. We got to talk about the Hialeah Speedway, man. I used to go there back in the day.
Hialeah Speedway.
I remember that. It was right on Okeechobee.
Hey, man, Hialeah's going to watch this podcast and come back and go, I really don't effing believe nothing now.
Oh, yeah.
He's come back. I
believe we're the only thing in the universe. Thanks, Steve.
Next week, Hialeah, we got to see what you think about that JFK car, the Mandela effect.
I'm going to look
I'm going on YouTube right now and look at that shit.
Yeah.
Go to youtube.com/R-Dowdy95 and watch the Legends Truth playlist because it's
I have y'all's YouTube channels linked down below.
Oh, hell yeah. Check those out.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll just go back and click on that because I knew Governor Conley and his wife.
Exactly.
I didn't think about who was driving the car.
Yeah.
No, I always remember the two Secret Service in the front, the Conleys in the middle, and the Kennedys in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And I always remember her.
You always remember
her reaching back, and for me, I always
look for
reaching back for a Secret Service agent.
But because Legend said that, I never wondered what was she doing. I thought she was always just looking to where the bullet came from. But she was grabbing something.
Because my original memories of it was she was grabbing like a piece of the skull piece off the back. But in this new, after my 2016 woken up to this Mandela effect crap, and of course, Daryl, if you've always seen 6, it's always been 6 to you. But it's like my conscious memory believes things from an alternate reality that are no longer what they are in this reality. Mm-hmm. But I have the memory of two different deals. It's like Flashpoint. Barry Allen in 2011, Flashpoint's a great example. Is, you know, he goes back in time to save his mom, and then he gets all these new memories of things that are different from the original timeline that he had come from. That's kind of like little bits and pieces of those, not like big events, but like little things, like little changes, name changes. You know, Suzanne Summers has one M in her name, you know, just like random weird crap like that. Like little things are off, you know.
Can you take a moment and explain the Mandela effect exactly?
Yeah. So the reason why it's called the Mandela effect, there was this lady named Fiona Broome, and one time around the water cooler, you know, she was talking about, this was just after Nelson Mandela had died. And of course, I'm talking about Mandela of this timeline, you know, the man that was in prison, but he was liberated out of prison and became the president of North or South Africa. I can't remember.
South Africa.
South Africa. He became president of South Africa. But as a kid growing up, I remember reading about and seeing Nelson Mandela's funeral on television. I remember seeing the big long line of cars and everything and doing his funeral. And I remember reading about it in a school textbook that he had died in jail. But whenever he, like, no, I didn't really even pay much attention to it until I guess around the mid 2000s, kind of when I figured out the Mandela effect, because it's almost like the memories of Mandela dying in prison, I had forgotten those somewhere in my mind. But then, of course, I found out that he's alive, and I thought this guy died a long time ago. So I didn't really think nothing of it. I just kind of lived my life regular and kept about my business. But then in 2016, when William Thorg told me about the Kennedy car and you know, and asked me some questions that I was like, no, I remember them differently. Well, and he was like, well, you know, you need to research this Mandela effect, because all that stuff that you thought was how you remembered it is now different. And I was like, okay, well, let me look at that. And then so Fiona Broome, she called it the Mandela effect because that event was the very first one where people, a group of people, they call it mass memory displacement or something like that, because it affects like multiple people. But then again, how does all these motherfucking people have the same damn memory of one thing and then it's different today? So that's the weird thing. And about, I want to say probably maybe 5% of the world remembers those type things, like in an alternate like history, that are now different today. But that's kind of what the Mandela effect is. So one of the other ones is, I was shelving books at my library in the kids section one time, and I was shelving those Berenstain Bears books. And when I was shelving them, I looked at the book, and it was spelled Stain. And as a kid, I remembered it Berenstain. Like, I was a big fan of the Boris Karloff 1931 Frankenstein. I love Gene Wilder's spoof, the Mel Brooks spoof, that Frankenstein. So I remember the Stein on those Berenstain Bears books because I read them to my freaking sister. And then when I started shelving them in the library, they said Stain. So the spelling was different. So that's a big Mandela effect.
That's a big one that I agree with you, because I was like, that's not how it was spelled back in the day.
You remember that? I remember Laurel and Hardy. Laurel and Hardy. I love Laurel and Hardy. I got my Laurel and Hardy dolls over here.
I love Laurel and Hardy too.
Their famous line was Oliver Hardy would say, "This is another fine mess you've gotten me into." Because Stan Laurel always was fucking up something.
Right.
It changed again. So instead of "this is another fine mess you've gotten us into," or what? No, it was another fine mess you've gotten me into. Then it changed to me. It said, "This is another fine mess you've gotten us into."
Yeah, I remember us.
Us. And then the new one is, "This is another nice, Nice, nice mess you've gotten us into." And I'm like, nice mess? How could that be? Because they had a title of one of their shorts was called Another Fine Mess. That's called a residual after effect of an alternate of a timeline change, was when it says Another Fine Mess. But if you watch every single video or episode, they will actually say Another Nice Mess. Another one I want to tell y'all about is, y'all remember that song?
A fine mess you've gotten us into.
Y'all remember that song, Mr. Rogers? Y'all remember Mr. Rogers of the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood?
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, Hialeah, how'd that song go, that Mr. Rogers Neighborhood? What was
Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah. So it was a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Right.
Now, in this reality we live in now, play it back. Even play back the black and whites. Look at all the YouTube ones. He says, it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. It's fucked up.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. He says
neighborhood.
this neighborhood, but clearly when I was a kid, it was always the neighborhood.
The neighborhood.
Remember Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? That classic movie, saw it 1,000 times. The gal goes, mirror, mirror on the wall. Now it's magic mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? But I always remember mirror, mirror. So it's just like
mirror
little
on
things.
the wall.
And those are from movies and stuff.
Yeah.
There's also like I remember Fruit Loops as a kid. It was FRUITLOOPS, but now it's always been known as FROOT. I remember FRUIT, and then the double O on Loops. Volkswagen's logos kind of been. I have a flip flop story on that. One time, my friend had a Volkswagen and had the V and the W, and there was a little space in between the V and W, and for whatever reason, it got Mandela effect, and then the V and W were connected together, and then it flip-flopped back. I think it's with a space in between. So that one I've kind of seen flip-flop back and forth. There's also people say the Fruit Loops box has flip-flop back and forth too.
Yeah, because it could be different.
Yeah,
models have the different logo,
different models. And then there's one scene in Back to the Future where the Libyans are originally, I thought the Libyans were driving a Toyota van, but now supposedly it's this Volkswagen van. But if you look at the Mandela effect Back to the Future Volkswagen van, in two frames, the VW is like connected, and then in the other frame, it's like spaced with a line in between. So yeah, all the Mandela effect stuff, very interesting. How
makes
the
you
Mandela
look at things different, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was like, how did Mandela effect start? Was it the aliens? Are we living in like a holodeck or like a matrix thing? The D-Wave quantum computer has been known to change things in the reality, like small things in the reality. A D-Wave quantum computer is a computer that's known to talk to other quantum computers in alternate realities or parallel universes, and they could trade information back and forth. So some say some of that quantum, they call it quantum pollution. It's where quantum data comes from another simulated reality into this reality. But then that's kind of, well, are we in a simulator? I mean, there's just so many like questions. But the Mandela Effect movie on Amazon Prime, definitely a good watch.
It's funny you say that about possibly being in a computer simulation.
Uh-huh.
I one time, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I was thinking, are we in some kind of like Sims game?
Yeah, like Sid Meier. Yeah,
happening. I feel like sometimes it's like, is it like each person have their own game created around them and someone's controlling everything?
And see, for me, I'm a religious guy. I believe, Jesus. I'm a Christian, but who's to say God, created the heaven and the earth with a quantum computer? Hell, I don't know. I ain't dead yet. I can't ask you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Yeah, and who's to say how those? I always wonder when a story gets passed down.
Yeah,
the sea parted. Man, that shit could be a brook with a rocket in the sea.
I love that stuff, man.
People change it.
Even in the Bible times, in the Bible, there's Bible verses that people, the Mandela effect for me has changed. Like I remember the one called "The Lion and the Lamb." If you look at that verse now, it says the wolf and the lamb, which I never remember the wolf and the lamb. I always remember lion and the lamb. And then there's this one about they talk about Egypt getting the slaves out of Egypt, and they're talking about God will lead you through or something like with the strength of an ox. But if you look at that same verse in the Bible now, it says the strength of a unicorn. And I'm like, and this is the King James version, the OG version with the red letters and stuff. Yeah, it's called like strength of a unicorn. So unicorns are in the Bible. There was another weird Bible verse. And this is a whole website. This guy, he's God, I wish I remember his name. I can get it for you, but he's a spiritual guy that prays over people, and he's one of those ones that gets rid of demon crap or the demonic crap. Bill Bean, his name's Bill Bean. He goes over some of the changes that he's like looked in the Bible, and he's kind of in his, he remembers the verses, and he's marked out what the original ones were for him and the new ones are in the Bible today. And there's even one in there that says free range oven. just like random weird words that could only be in the future, not in the Bible times. So that
Hey,
shit,
I'm liking Kevin Kelly, man. He's got some.
Dude, we got a whole show for next time, dude.
I know, man. We've got y'all look at that Mandela effect stuff. We'll talk about it.
What do you guys think about deja vu?
Oh, I got that all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's like you're reliving the same. You know, are we on some kind of freaking loop where we're living the same thing?
Sometimes I'll be
you're like, you've been there. You can almost say exactly what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Like I'll be sitting at the dinner table, man. And like my wife and kids, they'll be talking about something, and I'll remember this. Like I've seen and heard this conversation before, and I remember exactly what they're doing when they're doing it. You know, putting things away or doing something, and I was like, "Fuck!" I don't tell them or anything. I just, because it happens usually once every couple of weeks. I just gotta sit through it and take it, because what the fuck? I don't know if they're gonna believe me or not.
And then they always go, if you get deja vu, they say you're on the right track. How the hell do they know what track?
Yeah, man, I want some deja vu. I don't win the lotto.
I was at my brother's convenience store one day, and this lady comes in, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure we've had this conversation before.
Exactly, man. I mean,
I've never been here before. I'm like, no, I think you have.
Dude, you never had Hialeah?
Of course.
Yeah. It's a weird effect.
I got my own views on that too.
Yeah.
Nice. Come on, we want to hear them. That's why you're here. Speak them
out.
Well,
we got to say, like Daryl said, we got to say some
stuff. We're saving it, man. I
got some chili in the crock pot tonight.
Yeah. There we go.
Saving it for another show, man.
Man, I'm gonna go watch some shit. That way, I'll come back.
Yeah, we've got homework now.
Yep.
Because I used to know even all the cops' names and the JFK. I knew all the cops and everyone's names and all that. I watched the movie 10 times, man.
See how many people's in that car for you. That's the weirdest. That was the weirdest.
I know when you realize that it has to be 6, but I always remember 4. But that would have to put his wife driving.
Yeah.
Legend. I'm gonna go watch
he was sitting in front to get hit with the bullet, because a bullet supposedly went through his shoulder and through Conley's leg.
And see, that's one of the Mandela effects too, because the Mandela effect for me has changed a couple of things with the JFK thing. Because the first one, like I said, 4 people in the car, she reaches back grabbing a skull piece. But in this new reality or whatever that I'm thinking of now, I see her pull. It looks like she's pulling a little snub nose. Now, I don't know if that's the case or not. But the weirdest one of that whole thing is I see 6 people in the car when I only remembered 4. That was the weirdest one. But after you get over that one, zoom, try to slow-mo that thing and see what she's grabbing. She does something, and it looks like she puts the gun back down as she's going on the back of the car, but there's no damn skull piece on the back of the car. I remember the skull piece on the back of the car. Damn it, JFK, where the hell's your skull piece?
You see, I don't remember the skull piece in the back of the car. I'm going to go back and look. And I got to tell you, I'm almost scared to watch.
Me too.
Once you see that, Hialeah, once you see these Mandela effects, once you see these Mandela effects and you start researching it, your mind will literally be awoke. You'll be like a veil's been lifted from you, because you're going to see shit that only 5% of humanity can see. It's almost like it's a gift, actually. So, like, I don't fret about it much anymore. It used to drive me mad or whatever, but I look at it now as like a gift God's given me to see through shit. And you could take that knowledge, you could take that stuff you see, and you could use it in life. You can use it in comic books. You can use it in speculation. You can say Last Ronin came out yesterday, and there was a guy on IG, Goomba213. He showed a lot of these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle #1s. So, and he'd say, I hear these are heating up, and he got a flame on it. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, the only reason he posted this today was because he saw The Last Ronin yesterday. So in that event that The Last Ronin came out, that hype came out, it was able to send a little message in Goomba's mind where he was going to put that on his IG to like kind of garner some stuff up just because that came out. And then you look at that, then you see this one guy a while back, he started posting the same shit because he heard some character was going to be in Spider-Man. So he posted like 6 copies and he was like, I just knew these were going to get hot. It's like, motherfucker, you didn't know these were going to get hot. You just bought them because you a speculator. But like little things, like little events, will trigger a person's mind to react to that event.
Right.
To do it's like, and I always tell Chad in the Comic Core, I've got this ability to rhyme and rap and say these things that all sound like totally fucking perfect when I haven't scripted anything. But it's like my mind can see 5 seconds into the future to the words that are, I can already see 5 seconds, 10 seconds into the future, what the words coming out of my mouth are going to be in my mind. So why not create rhymes every time those words come out? And then people will listen to me and listen to me shout. Man, it's just like real simple little things where it's almost like your mind and the way you look at things in the future could be like a timeline on YouTube where you're buffered already 10 to 20 seconds before anyone else is. And it'll just open up your fucking mind, man. You got to watch some of that stuff, man.
Hey, I got the new show, D. Next week, the Great Legends versus Marshall Mathers in a battle, baby.
Well, we got some good ones, man.
Hey, your fucking viewers would be like at 50,000.
Man, when you were saying that, I was thinking, wait, isn't that Nicolas Cage movie where he could see
10 seconds or something like that, or whatever it was? Yeah. It's kind of like that. And I don't really do that much unless I'm just like either video gaming or I'm, like doing the whole like getting crazy great legend gimmick on it. You know what I mean? Like, but for these kind of videos, man, I keep them close, keep them straight, because I want everyone in the chat to like know some of this stuff because they may have not heard of this stuff before. So it's kind of this. What reason I love this, Daryl, is this is kind of like those legends truths, man. They're like hidden truths that big government or they or the powers that be, they don't want us to know, but we're kind of pulling back that veil to see what's inside their show.
Yeah, that little man back there working the curtains and shit.
Yeah.
Back there.
And there's Mandela effects
the great eyes
as well. There's hidden Mandela effects in that one that you may notice that are pretty good. I won't give those away, but you all have to research
as
those.
soon as we get off, I'm going right to watch that shit.
Yeah, man.
Kennedy. I got to see it now. I got to see it. I always remember her going back on the car. What was she doing? It's like she was getting something.
Look to see it. Look to
me that way.
Whenever everything's going down, I think the first shot goes off. I think Conley gets hit, and this is, like I said, this is like the newer video for this timeline that I remember. But if you could kind of see her pull something from the middle seats, kind of look like she's checking on him, like she's kind of going like this to him. But it looks like she pulls something out and points it, shoot. Blood spurts straight up, that's not the right trajectory from a shot coming from that building or whatever. And then when she's going back, like
I gotta watch this shit, man.
There's no fucking
I ain't even gonna be able to sleep tonight.
It looks like she's putting the gun back in between the back seats. I don't know. And with the thing about the night before, that if you can find that speech, you're gonna have to find some kind of software to make that speech. It's all in Spanish. I've never listened to it. This is just what I heard off this website, but I don't have the sound crap to reverse speech. And there might be I remember Windows 95 and 3.1 had that sound recorder where you could slow down shit and run it backwards on a WAV file. But listen to her, and she says some shit like, I'm going to kill, blah, blah, blah. It sounds like, I don't know. And then that makes me think fucking Satan can get involved. I don't know.
I think that's a little too far fetched, bro.
Yeah.
Because
back in the day,
those records,
in the 80s was massive. I remember getting my Another One Bites the Dust, and you would do it backwards, and it would say, "It's fun to smoke marijuana."
Yeah, shit like that.
It's fun to smoke marijuana. I remember doing that.
Read.
I remember doing that, and it's almost like you could hear what you want to hear because that backmasking is crazy hard to do.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, they used to say it was in Kiss records. You run the Kiss records back in. It
Black
was
Black
and all of our parents were like, "You can't listen to rock and roll. It's the devil music." And I'm
see, those were all on records.
None of that shit.
Those were all on records. But if you break down that WAV file, being that file's totally digital, and when you run it backwards, I haven't done it, so I can't say 100% or not. I mean, I don't really feel like I mean, I could look it up, but it doesn't really like bother me as much anymore. Now, back in the day, I was pretty like paranoid and like it controlled me and everything. But nowadays, I'm just kind of used to it. It does piss me off a little that this shit, like I see these changes, but I've just my mind's kind of become numb to it. But on occasion, I'll look up new stuff or, try to see any differences, but it doesn't affect me like it used to. I try not to let that kind of stuff consume me or whatever, because I do think maybe that most of the time that's probably just Satan trying to mess my mind up and interrupt the relationship I have with my God. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
the bastard D-Wave quantum computers trying to tell me like, shit that, is against things that I believe, try to lead me down a different path. But instead of like letting them lead me down a different path, I let other people know how they can live their life on the right path when they watch the Great Legends Show. And know and show those rhymes. So I kind of put that one in there and thought about to end it on the show. Kind of like a promo, if you will.
There you go.
Nice.
We had a good show tonight, Daryl. This was a
This
lot.
This was fun, man.
Great idea, Davey.
I got so hot I had to take the beanie off.
Earlier, it's like he had to take the hat off. He had to take the shirt off. I was like,
I had to get a little warm in here, man. We talk about this stuff, man.
I felt the same way, man. I had to like loosen up, man. It's like,
let me give some shout out to the people who came to visit us. Let me say that proper like. 90 MFC, the boy who had 7, Mr. Gretzky. Mr. Gretzky, thank you for the $2 super chat.
Oh yeah, Mr. G.
Awesome, Mr. G.
Let's see. Ricky was in here. Kevin Kelly's in here tonight. Did I miss anybody that left comments? I think that's everybody. Much appreciated. Everybody stopping by, hanging out with us. I thought this was gonna be a one and done, but looks like we going for a double header.
Yeah,
So
there's always some good like conspiracies and crazy mysteries out there. And what about those damn rocks, those Stonehenges? What the hell? I mean, they all come
How'd they get there? How'd they put equipment? Oh,
Island.
Opened up a whole nother.
Easter Island.
Yeah,
Do it.
there is
Daryl's
no
like,
way,
oh,
man.
Steve, calm down. We gotta save some of this stuff.
I'm adding a couple more things over here as we speak.
Good.
But, anything you guys want to
I'm gonna write down a whole bunch of different shit that I got.
Thanks everyone for watching, man. This was so much fun. Thank you, panel, man. Thank you, Legend, Steve, D. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
I wrote down some of these shows here: Marathon Man, Hunting Hitler, the Pacino series, and the Joe Rogan's Bob Lazar. I'm going to watch and listen to some of that.
I
stuff.
can't wait for that, man. I think Legend's gonna be like, man, if this guy's
like
a liar,
Daryl. I've
he's
seen
the
Bob
best.
Lazar on a little
if
bit of
he's
stuff.
a liar,
Just
Hialeah,
Bob
you think
Lazar.
he's full of shit? He's the best there ever was. He's convincing as hell to me.
Let's see. Monday night, I'll be hopefully with Hialeah.
Yes.
We're talking NFL wide receivers, our favorite ones. Tomorrow, Stay Puffed. He usually has his show at 2.
Oh, Great Legends got his man
I
John
know.
Elway up there.
I love my John Elway's
That was
team.
your quarterback. That's what you said.
Hey, man, I still remember that hit he took
is
to go in the end zone. You know, where he got spun around.
Yeah.
Hey, he wanted to win that bad.
Yeah, he
know,
said,
that
"Fuck
showed
it, I got to
some-
get my ring here."
Yeah, I got to get this shit. If I
I
got to
would tell you
die,
real quick,
it's going to
Daryl.
be on this field
Daryl's going to
tonight.
tell us about Wednesday, but Daryl, whenever he ran to the end zone like that, when they Atwater and that other guy broke up that Packers pass, I cried at the end of that game. I cried in the second Elway Super Bowl too when he won the MVP award. Because man, thank God. Let me just thank God for Terrell Davis, man.
That dude was a beast. If he didn't have those migraines, man.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Bro, but you just brought up Atwater. What a
Oh man,
Yeah.
one of my favorite free safety of all time, Steve Atwater.
what a
Him and
beast.
the Koye hit.
Oh,
The Nigerian nightmare.
legendary.
I
Legendary.
love Atwater, man.
Love Okoye. All right, guys.
That's what makes a good defense when you got a safety that you have to know where he's at. Or
Name the
you get
wood.
killed. You got to know where he's at. That's why the Bucks defense was good. Where's John Lynch?
Yeah.
He's not that fast. He's not an intercepting guy. But if he hits you, do you know he knocked his Olsen out when he was a rookie? That was his sister's husband. He
Yeah,
knocked him
dude.
unconscious.
Knocked him
I'll
out.
never forget that. Greg Olsen's still playing too.
Crazy.
Still playing.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
All right, guys. Anything else?
Man.
Hey, one thing I got, this is on the Comic Core channel. It was, well, there was one on my channel too. It was the Baltimore Comic-Con Live. If you missed any of the Baltimore Comic-Con Live, I got to run the retailer showcase where we spotlighted like about 10 different retailers, and we capped it off with Anthony Snyder, and we did a big claim sale. So I had fun doing that. And then on Friday, I do a lot of stuff behind the scenes with heroinitiative.org, and I got to host their drink and draw for 2020 at Baltimore Comic-Con Live, where we had a lot of kick-ass guests like Megan Hutchison. We had old Sanford Green on there from Bitterroot. We had Terry Moore on there, and he's Texas guy, so we had a lot of fun. I think, he was living up in Richardson area. And then, of course, Megan Hutchison's husband, Donnie Cates, made a couple of cameos, and I got to cut it up with Donnie Cates quite a bit on there. That was a fucking awesome show. That's on Comic Core if y'all want to see a lot of the artists get drunk and draw some good shit. And then, yeah, we had that whole Baltimore thing was really fun. It was all live and free to watch and everything. But Friday for me, I'm probably going to be doing a couple of Dead Tobers before October 31st, where I want to play another level of Left 4 Dead from the Left 4 Dead game, and I want to play the old Nintendo classic Maniac Mansion. And then once Halloween and all that stuff's over with, I've got some unboxings. I got some slabs to show, and, more comics, and I'm actually thinking about getting another big boy book, but I don't know, man. If I buy this big boy book, I'm going to be tapped for probably till 2021. Can't buy shit, but that's about all.
Hey, man. Hey, on a couple of other things I was thinking to possibly throw in maybe down the road, serial killers.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
Because they're so interesting, Do you think they got the right guy? Because, they say Williams wasn't the right guy in the Atlanta murders.
Mm-hmm.
And Jack the Ripper, man, that would be another awesome one. Who was he?
I watch it all the time.
Remember that guy, the Hurricane, that Denzel made the movie of? He got wrongly thrown in jail.
Yeah.
You're talking about the WWE guy, the Hurricane.
Shane Helms, Gregory Helms. Oh, man. Him and when he was on WCW, he was a part of the 3 Count, the little boy band group.
Yep.
Oh, it's classics.
All right, guys.
All right, man.
All right. That's it.
We were ready to go, and then 15 minutes later, we're still here.
Yeah, man. We better go.
But check out Hialeah and the Great Legend. I've got links below to their YouTube channels. Steve's like, I got nothing. Like,
one day I will.
Steve's gonna get to 500 subs with no videos.
I'm at like 300 already or something close.
Hey, Hialeah, you watch Bob Lazar, mispronounced his name there, and Stone Cold. You put up one video.
Oh my God, that's so much pressure on me.
So, Steve, you got some comic books you probably haven't.
Oh, I got a lot of comic books, but
a lot of
your favorites, or maybe talk about some of your favorite stories you've ever read of all time, or some awesome stuff, man.
You got fire. Hey, I forgot. Tomorrow I'm gonna be on Comigories.
Oh yeah, we got some Comigories.
Halloween special tomorrow, and then
that ought to be good.
And then on my friend's YouTube channel, it's called Young Bucks Old Goats, and we kind of talk all this stuff as well. So
nice.
Yeah, it's a good show too. It's good. Them guys
guys
know their shit on his show, man. You can't.
It's called Young Bucks Old Goats.
Old Goats. Yeah, we do it every Friday.
That's good stuff.
The Boy Who Had 7 talks comic books. That's where you can find Comigories. It is one of the best. It is the best game show. I love watching it. I will never be on it again. I'm still having nightmares about that. It was brutal. So, but definitely check it out. Matt and John, they do a great job over there. So much fun.
And Hobby Show in 2 weeks, the Hialeah is on. I mean, next Thursday with the music is awesome, man. It causes a lot of controversy. People voting, going, "How could you vote for that dose?"
I'm a new subscriber of Young Bucks Old Goats, and I'm their 250th subscriber. And what's funny is they have the legend. I'm watching this because of the legend of Walter Mercado. And I remember seeing Walter like in the 90s, a kid in the 90s, high school years and stuff. I'd turn it on TNT or one of the TV channels, and there was always call my 1-900 number and I'll read your fortunes and all this kind of stuff. And then the video has 6 thumbs up and 3 thumbs down. So somebody got their fortune read wrong by Walter Mercado.
for Latins, that was gospel. He was gospel.
Yeah. Oh, to the Latin people?
Yes.
It was like, somos unos vatos locos forever because Mercado es muy bien.
It's mucho amor. That's what it is.
Mucho amor. Much love to the Mercado. Oh, man. That's good shit, man. My speak español así así. Man, living in old Texas, working at the library, I'd be like, ¿tú necesitas tarjeta de biblioteca? Ah, sí, verdad.
Perfect.
Yeah, and I'd just be chatting. I'd be chatting to Tex-Mex with my peoples down here, but it's all good time.
Nice, I love it.
Hey, that's one of my biggest regrets is not taking Spanish in school.
Yeah, I took 3 years. It's good.
I because I got so many Spanish friends. A lot of guys that when I had my business going were Spanish, and they're all talking blah blah blah, and I'm like, fuck, I'm lost. I think I knew were cuss words. I knew those.
Steve, next time we get to hang out, I'm gonna only talk to you in Spanish. You walk.
All right. I'll try to transcribe. Sometimes I don't know all the words, but I'm pretty good at transcribing stuff.
Awesome.
Nice.
All right, fellas.
All right.
Bro, thank you.
That's all we got. You guys have an incredible day.
Peace.
Later.